students, whenever you are talking about any metabolic pathway or any chemical reaction which is taking place in cells in our bodies, it is not only about studying the reaction in terms of making products from the reactants. It is also very important that you learn that how the reaction or how the metabolic pathway overall is regulated and what is the importance of that regulation. ETC or electron transport chain is a very crucial process. It is also regulated. It is not regulated, although on that level of regulation as we see in the case of glycolysis or in the case of Krebs cycle, but still there are certain factors which affect its pace, which affects its occurrence. One of the best or one of the most important factor, of course, is the need of ATP, how much ATP you have to produce and how much ATP has to be utilized. That affect the pace and the occurrence of this process, that is of the electron transport chain. So, you can see and you can think about it that if there is decrease in level of ATP in your body, you will definitely need more ATP, and because of this need of using more ATP, I mean you need more of molecule which is giving you energy, electron transport chain have to be then activated with a little bit higher pace. It should be then, it should not be deregulated, it should be actively generating more and more ATP. Similarly, if your body does not need ATP that much, somehow the regulation process will take place in a way that the electron transport chain is halted a bit. For instance, here is the equation which is showing the ATP hydrolysis giving rise to ADP and inorganic phosphate, and of course, you get energy, a lot of energy out of this. You can think of this regulation of the hydrolysis of ATP by thinking that what sort of physical activities we are undergoing. For instance, if we are running, we are taking exercise, or we are walking very briskly, or we are doing a lot of physical activity, definitely our body will require much more energy then, because whole body is involved in it, and because our body will require much more energy, then you will need more and more ATP formation. Similarly, if you are sleeping or you are resting, you do not need that much ATP. Your need of ATP of energy is much less. So, there is no need for the whole body to be involved in using so much energy to make ATP. It has to conserve that energy which is involved in the making of ATP, so that whenever you are doing work again, the ATP is regenerated. So, keep in mind that whether this is the generation of ATP when you need it more or whether you do not need it more, it is somehow one way or the other affect the process of electron transport chain. When you need more ATP, you are exercising, electron transport chain will be fast. You need less ATP, you are resting, electron transport chain will be lesser. I mean, it will be, its speed will be, pace will be slowed down. So, this is how it will be regulated. So, at the end of the day, electron transport chain regulation depend upon your need of ATP. This is another way of looking at it, that is looking at the metabolic pathways. Metabolic pathways like Krebs cycle, like gluconeogenesis, like glycolysis, they are generating ATP. So, if your body is not needing ATP, these metabolic pathways will also be slowed down or halted, and as a result, because these pathways are connected with the, if you remember, especially the Krebs cycle, is connected with the ETC, with the electron transport chain ETC, what will happen? That ETC will also be regulated likewise. A very recent advent or development in this field is also that we now know that depending upon different cellular environments, depending upon the context in which the cell is living, different complexes of ETC, they act with each other, act together to make the process more efficient. So, complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4, they make different a combination of each other, and in that combinations they really increase the efficiency of ATP through the better activated ETC. And also one of the manifestation of this can be seen in the process of cancer progression, that because cancer cells are dramatically dividing and needing more and more energy, there you can see these complexes are rearranging themselves so dramatically to make more and more energy.